The White House briefing room, usually a place for routine updates, became the scene of a high-stakes confrontation in December 2025. The air was thick with anticipation, as journalists and officials prepared for what would become a defining moment in the ongoing struggle between the Trump administration and the press. This wasn't just another press secretary versus reporter standoff. It was a snapshot of the deep mistrust between the Trump administration and the mainstream media. The tension was palpable, with every question and answer carrying the weight of months of escalating rhetoric and suspicion. Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary, faced off against CNN's Kaitlan Collins, who pressed her on the real impact of the administration's economic claims. Collins, known for her pointed questions, didn't hold back, demanding specifics and challenging the administration's narrative head-on. Collins challenged the narrative of prosperity by citing the ongoing affordability crisis and President Trump's advice that parents might need to buy fewer Christmas gifts this year. Her question resonated with many Americans who felt the pinch of rising prices, despite official reports of economic growth. The question cut to the heart of the disconnect between positive economic data and the struggles of everyday Americans. It exposed the gap between statistics touted by the administration and the lived experiences of families across the country. Leavitt responded by attacking the credibility of CNN, accusing the network of going easy on the previous Biden administration and ignoring inflation under his watch. She doubled down, insisting that the media's selective coverage was fueling public confusion and distrust. The press secretary's remarks sparked immediate reactions both inside the room and across social media, as viewers debated whether the media was being unfair or simply doing its job. The exchange quickly escalated, shifting the room's mood from inquiry to open hostility. Reporters exchanged glances, aware that this was no ordinary briefing. It was a public showdown over truth and accountability. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about the legitimacy of the media and the administration's willingness to be held accountable. The confrontation became a symbol of the broader battle over who controls the narrative in American politics. The clash highlighted a fundamental divide: an administration that sees the press as adversaries, and a press corps determined to hold power to account. Each side dug in, unwilling to concede ground. For viewers, it was more than political theater. It was a battle over who gets to define reality. The spectacle played out not just in the briefing room, but in living rooms and on screens across the nation. The confrontation underscored how information warfare now shapes public understanding of government and the economy. Every exchange, every headline, became ammunition in a larger struggle for public trust. In this moment, the stakes were clear. Trust in both the media and the administration was on the line, and the outcome would echo far beyond the walls of the White House. Karoline Leavitt's rebuttal centered on a sharp accusation, one that cut to the heart of public trust, that the media had fundamentally failed in its duty during the Biden years, neglecting its role as a watchdog for the American people. She painted the press as not just passive, but actively complicit, claiming they allowed the previous administration's narratives to go unchallenged, especially on critical issues like inflation and the border, which directly affected millions of Americans. This wasn't just a swipe at Collins, it was a sweeping attack on the entire journalistic establishment, framing them as partisan actors rather than impartial observers, and suggesting that the media had abandoned its responsibility to hold those in power accountable. The Trump team's strategy was clear: energize their base by casting the media as hopelessly biased, and preemptively discredit any negative coverage as not just unfair, but as evidence of a rigged system. Leavitt argued that Biden's press secretaries faced little scrutiny, often receiving gentle questions, while the Trump administration was grilled daily, sometimes with open hostility from the press corps. By focusing on the early days of inflation and the border crisis, she tapped into a broader criticism that the media was slow to recognize and report on these issues, leaving the public in the dark when it mattered most. Her sweeping claim of a double standard was a powerful, if oversimplified, talking point, one that resonated with those already skeptical of mainstream news. The message was unmistakable. The game is rigged, with one side getting a free pass while the other is relentlessly scrutinized, fueling a sense of injustice among Trump supporters. For skeptical viewers, Leavitt's words didn't just echo their suspicions about media bias, they confirmed them, deepening their mistrust of traditional news sources and reinforcing the idea that the media cannot be relied upon for the full story. The image of a compliant press under Biden versus a combative one under Trump was politically potent, serving as a rallying cry for those who felt their voices were being ignored or dismissed. This narrative of media malpractice became the foundation of Leavitt's counterattack, shifting the debate away from policy details and toward a broader question of press integrity and public trust. The accusation wasn't just about inflation or the border, it was about the credibility of the entire news ecosystem and whether Americans could believe what they were being told. In this framing, every tough question for Trump became evidence of a broader partisan agenda, while soft questioning of Biden was seen as proof of favoritism. The result, a deepening divide over who can be trusted to tell the truth, and a media landscape where objectivity itself is now up for debate. Karoline Collins didn't let Leavitt's accusation go unanswered. Instead, she responded with the kind of determination that has come to define her approach to journalism: direct, thorough, and unafraid to challenge misinformation head-on. That evening, on her CNN show, Collins launched a detailed fact-check, turning the tables on the White House and making it clear that the press would not be a silent bystander in the face of false claims. She aired a montage of clips from 2021 to 2025, showing herself and other CNN reporters grilling Biden officials about inflation and the cost of living. The footage spanned years, highlighting persistent, tough questioning on issues that mattered most to Americans. The footage directly contradicted Leavitt's claim that the press ignored these issues. It was a clear, visual rebuttal, one that left little room for doubt about the network's coverage. Collins's defense was twofold: protecting CNN's reputation and her own integrity as a journalist. She made it personal, reminding viewers that her job is to hold power to account, not to play favorites. By showing the receipts, she demonstrated a consistent record of tough, non-partisan questioning, regardless of who was in power. The evidence was not cherry-picked, it was comprehensive, spanning multiple administrations and political climates. The segment underscored a key challenge in today's media landscape: false claims can spread instantly, amplified by social media, while corrections and context often reach fewer people and arrive too late to undo the initial damage. Collins' fact-check was a forceful rebuttal, but it also highlighted the uphill battle journalists face in setting the record straight. The truth, it seems, must fight for attention in a crowded, noisy information environment. The exchange became a case study in the struggle for truth in a polarized environment. It was more than a single moment. It was a reflection of the broader battle over facts and narratives in American public life. For those who watched, it was a reminder that evidence still matters, even if it doesn't always change minds. The segment sparked conversations in living rooms and online, as viewers weighed the facts for themselves. The battle wasn't just over facts, but over the very definition of accountability. Who gets to decide what's true, and who is held responsible when the truth is distorted? Collins' response was necessary, but it also revealed the limits of fact-checking in a divided nation. Even the most thorough rebuttal can struggle to break through entrenched beliefs and partisan divides. The moment showed how quickly a press room clash can become a national debate about media trust. What starts as a single accusation can ripple outward, fueling larger questions about the role of journalism in democracy. In the end, both sides left with their narratives intact, and the audience was left to decide whom to believe. The lines between fact and opinion, truth and spin, seemed blurrier than ever. The fight for credibility, it seemed, was far from over. In a world awash with information, the search for truth remains a never-ending challenge. Beneath the media fireworks was a real debate about the economy's health. Leavitt touted positive data inflation slowing to 2.5%, real wages rising by $200, and falling gas prices. Her message, the economy is on the upswing, and critics are out of touch. But Collins' questions exposed a deeper reality. While inflation's pace has slowed, prices for essentials like food and housing remain high. For many families, the damage is done. Higher prices are now the new normal. The administration's data-driven optimism clashed with the lived experience of Americans still feeling squeezed. This disconnect is the heart of the economic messaging battle. Numbers may look good, but if people don't feel relief, the narrative falls flat. Collins's reference to buying fewer Christmas gifts captured the frustration of voters who feel left behind. The debate wasn't just about statistics, it was about which story felt true to ordinary Americans. For the White House, positive trends were proof of progress. For critics, the focus was on persistent hardship and the slow pace of real relief. The clash revealed how economic data can be spun, but public sentiment is harder to shift. Ultimately, the question was simple. Are Americans better off, or just told they should be? The answer for many remained uncertain. Pressed on affordability, Leavitt pivoted to a defense of higher prices for American-made goods. She argued that paying a bit more supports domestic jobs and strengthens supply chains, a patriotic investment in the nation's future. The message, higher prices aren't just a burden, but a choice to back American workers and reduce reliance on foreign goods. This argument reframes inflation as a noble sacrifice for the greater good. It's a core tenet of Trump's America First agenda: prioritize domestic industry, even if it means consumers pay more. But for families struggling to make ends meet, the promise of long-term benefits can feel distant compared to immediate financial pressures. Collins' questioning highlighted this tension between national pride and household budgets. The debate exposed a fundamental divide: should policy favor the lowest prices for consumers, or higher wages and jobs for producers? Leavitt's stance was clear. Americans should be willing to pay more for quality American-made products. The challenge convincing voters that this trade-off is worth it, especially in tough economic times. In the end, the administration's economic worldview was on full display. One that asks citizens to see higher prices as an investment, not just a cost.